This is the what's left of a rocket that we were going to jump June 2014. And what happened, it launched by itself, and I thought it actually blew the right side of my face off. This right here is the uniform I'm going to wear during my next rocket jump, and actually it's going to be a rocket launch since it's going to be vertical. So all of this that's behind me is parts of the rocket that made the world record jump in January 30th of 2014, and I took a hit.
And yet that doesn't dissuade you from trying again.
Well, you know, I kind of relate this to anybody else that gets injured doing what they do. You know, they just keep on doing it, I guess.
Hello everyone, how are you all doing today? I hope you are all doing very, very well. I'm having a wonderful day. I'm looking outside and I can see the beautiful horizon and the sun rising out my large front window. It's a great day to be alive on this amazing rounded earth. It's a bit windy today and I apologize for the background noise. Not much I can do about that, but I still love being on this amazing sphere. If you are familiar with the flat earth conspiracy theory, you may have heard of Mad Mike Hughes, or as many people refer to him as now, Rocketman. But who was Mike? How did he get here? What made him a flat earther? Today, we are going to take a deep dive into the man behind the rocket of the flat earth conspiracy, Mad Mike Hughes.
Where is the curvature where we live? I can't find it.
You get keto coffee and you get greens and you also get a WTF What the Fit towel. Sign up, hit join, or message me, and let's get started. Hit join or message me and let's get started.
Born on February 29th, 1956 in Oklahoma City. He seemed to have a decent childhood, although not much is known publicly about his family. Growing up, Mike fell in love with motorcycles. Something he and I have in common. He acquired a love of motorcycle racing and actually beat a world record. Yes, in 2002, Mike set a Guinness World Record with a 103-foot, a 31-meter jump in a Lincoln Town car stretch limousine. He stated during an interview with the Associated Press in 2018 that he had planned to run for governor of California. However, Mike was already becoming known as a flat earther. He started to voice his odd beliefs publicly online shortly after 9/11. Apparently, Mike began following the conspiracy theories in relation to the September 11th attack of the World Trade Centers. He strongly believed it was an inside job. Many believe that this is what began his distrust in the government. He began questioning everything at this moment.
The thing is, with life, we're given these puzzles, okay? And all these different puzzles has different pieces missing. So we're constantly trying to fit these things in to relate to something that makes sense to us. After 9/11, you know, I just started questioning things. The flat earth, I'm thinking, well, wait a second. And you start studying all these videos, and you do some own observation. Okay? You're trying to make sense of all these different facts. You start putting this puzzle together with all these missing pieces, and I don't care about what they're telling us about from space. You start finding these places that's flat on this planet. Kansas is flat, okay? I'm telling you, I've been there, it's flat. People saying about stars, or we've got a rover on Mars. Where is the curvature where we live? I can't find it.
As you heard, he began to question NASA and whether the Earth was flat. The conspiracy theories seemed to take over his life. There have been studies done, and I have covered on my channel many times why people believe in conspiracy theories such as the flat earth or those involved with the 9/11 attacks. It has been found that most who believe have a distrust in authority figures such as those in the government, or they just want to have an alternative viewpoint. It appears Mike began to distrust the government and all authority figures and sought out the answers to everything they were lying to us about. Allegedly. On January 30th, 2014, Mike built his first manned rocket. It flew 1,374 feet, 419 meters, in just over 1 minute over Winkleman, Arizona. Mike collapsed after the landing, and it took him 3 days to recover. He said that the injuries he suffered from the flight put him in a walker for 2 weeks. However, many people question if he was even in the rocket when it launched, since there was no video footage of this event. Of course, those of us who are not flat earthers, or globe skeptics as they like to be called now, question it the most. It seemed to only make Mike want to prove the Earth was flat even more so, despite his failure to launch the rocket and having to use a walker for 2 weeks. In 2016, Mike launched a failed fundraising attempt for a rocket that raised $310. Yes, only $310 was all that was raised, which I'm quite thankful for because, as you know, I cover scams and I really don't think this was a good fundraiser. Sounds like a scam to me, since I'm quite aware that the Earth is a sphere. After professing his belief in a flat Earth later that year, Mike gained support within the flat Earth community. Of course he did. His post-Flat Earth fundraising campaign made its goal of $7,875. He said he intended to make multiple rocket journeys, culminating in a flight to outer space, where he believed he would be able to take a picture of the entire Earth as a flat disc. Yes, you heard that right. He was completely adamant that when he took a picture of the Earth from outer space, despite all the pictures we have seen of the Earth from outer space already, that he would show us a flat disc. His belief was that NASA's pictures were fake. He strongly believed the world was lying to us about the Earth being round. In November of 2017, Mike claimed that the Bureau of Land Management, BLM, had given him permission more than a year prior to launching his rocket, and he was pending approval from the Federal Aviation Administration. A BLM spokesperson was quick to speak on this and deny it completely. Their office had no record of speaking to him at the time, and after seeing the articles about the planned launch, well, they were actually reaching out to him with concerns about it. The launch was originally scheduled for the weekend of November 25th, 2017, but Mad Mike rescheduled it to December 2nd of the same year. He blamed ongoing difficulties in obtaining permissions as his reason for having to reschedule, despite his big claim at the beginning of the month. Mike then moved his launch pad 4 miles or 6 kilometers for us Canadians so that he could take off and land on private property. Many believed this was so he could try to avoid obtaining the proper permissions, and I would have to agree. The BLM maintained that although he was doing this on private property now, he would still have to obtain the appropriate permits. Who knew? Mad Mike seemed to not care and stated he would still fly despite not having the appropriate permit. He actually stated, "I'm a daredevil. I'm not much for authority or rules." The untested initial rocket was intended to reach a speed of 500 miles per hour or 800 kilometers per hour, again for us Canadians. Then Mike planned further rocket trips, which were to be launched from a balloon 20 miles, 32 kilometers up, and they were intended to reach above the atmosphere into outer space. Mike acknowledged there were risks, stating, "It's scary as hell, but none of us getting out of this world alive." A fundraising campaign to cover the costs of the delay raised around $100 of its $10,000 goal. Yeah, It appeared Mike lost some of his support, most likely due to his unwillingness to follow BLM standards and the fact his first launch was unsuccessful. On February 3rd of 2018, Mike live-streamed another attempted launch. Everyone watched in awe, waiting for him to launch into space, but the rocket's steam release malfunctioned and the launch was aborted. This did not leave anyone feeling confident that Mike would be able to fly into outer space on a homemade rocket ship. Finally, on March 24th, 2018, Mike had a successful launch. He reached a height of 1,875 feet, or 572 meters, and had a hard landing in the Mojave Desert.
I took a hit.
And yet that doesn't dissuade you from trying again.
Well, you know, I kind of relate this to anybody else that gets injured doing what they do. You know, you just keep on doing it, I guess.
The steam-powered rocket launched at a sharp angle to avoid falling back to Earth on public land, because that's what's important in that moment, and landed about 1,500 feet or 460 meters away from the launch point. Mad Mike's team reported a maximum speed of 350 miles per hour, which is 560 kilometers per hour for us Canadians. He reported no serious injury from the landing, so at least this time he was not injured. Now Mike's confidence was built up and he was ready to really build a rocket to go into outer space and prove to the whole world that the Earth is in fact flat. So Mike planned to launch himself in a rocket on August 10th, 2019. That's right, he was going up again to prove it to us. Due to mechanical troubles, however, he postponed the launch to the following weekend. He just had to fix some things, you know? The following weekend came, and the launch ended up being postponed due to Mike needing to be treated for heart exhaustion. If only he had stopped there. Maybe the last two postponements were some kind of sign, some sign that he should not continue trying to launch himself into outer space on a homemade rocket ship. I just want to take a moment to mention before we continue to please like the video and subscribe. Be sure to turn on your notifications so you never miss an upload. I'm a bit random with them. Also, if you want to support the channel, please consider joining our membership for the channel perks and a weekly members only stream. It would be very much appreciated and every little bit helps the channel. Thanks so much for all the love and support. It means a lot to me. Now let's get back into the video. Mad Mike and what unfortunately brought this Rocketman to his demise. Yes, you heard that correctly. Mike decided that on February 22nd, 2020, he would launch himself into outer space again, near Barstow, California, into a rocket built by his collaborator, Waldo Stakes. During the launch, the rocket's parachute, which was designed for landing, appeared to deploy early and launch from the craft. The launch event was being filmed for the Science Channel television series Homemade Astronauts. Mike was gonna star in the show. I'm gonna show the video of the launch. I'm warning you that you do see him come out of the rocket and fall, so please skip ahead about 45 seconds if you cannot view this video. Trigger warning. Following his death, Mike's public relations specialist Darren Schuster said, "We used Flat Earth as a PR stunt. Flat Earth allowed us to get so much publicity that we kept going. I know he didn't believe in Flat Earth and it was a shtick." That was surprising to hear from everyone. In fact, the Flat Earth Society was not very happy about that. They had hoped Mad Mike would prove their conspiracy theories correct, and the message boards seemed to erupt in Flat Earthers not appreciating the comment. I do not in any way enjoy covering the fact that this man passed away. I understand some may think it served him right, but it is always an awful thing when someone passes away. We wish his family and friends condolences. What worries me is, if this was a shtick, how far was Mike willing to go for entertainment purposes? If it wasn't a shtick, then how far was he willing to go to prove the Earth is flat, a disc he could take a picture of from his rocket ship? Will others be willing to take things this far? This case is interesting to discuss because he was willing to prove this even if it caused his death. He was well aware of the dangers. In fact, he considered himself quite the stuntman. Is that why he was so willing to risk his life for this cause? Either way, he passed away in his own homemade rocket ship, launching into outer space to prove a theory that he himself apparently did not fully believe. Some think that maybe after his death, his public relations specialist didn't want him to be remembered as a flat earther who tried to prove the theory and went down in flames. I know, sorry, bad joke, but I have to joke a little bit, okay? That would make some sense as well. Many feel as though Mike seemed too passionate in his beliefs during the many short documentaries he starred in to be a fake flat earther. What do you think? Either way, Mike Hughes will always be remembered as the man who pretended to be a flat earther to gain fame for being a Rocketman daredevil. Rest in peace, Mad Mike Hughes. Would you go as far as Mike did to prove a conspiracy theory true? Would you go as far as Mike to be a daredevil for a theory you may not have believed? Let me know what you think about this story in the comments down below. Again, please do give the video a like and subscribe if you're new. Think of joining our awesome memberships. Share the video with your friends and let them know that sometimes it isn't worth dying for your beliefs, especially if you believe in a conspiracy theory. And no matter where you are or what you are doing, I hope that you have a fabulous day. I'll see you in the next one, which will be tomorrow. Take care. Bye. Oh, and remember, the Earth is not flat. As you can see, that theory goes up in flames no matter how hard you try to prove it. I know, bad joke. I have to, okay?
I took a hit.
And yet that doesn't dissuade you from trying again.
Well, you know, I kind of relate this to anybody else that gets injured doing what they do. You know, you just keep on doing it, I guess.